Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to learn about building blocks in our Minecraft world using Python on the Raspberry Pi. So we've already opened up a new file in idle and renamed it blocks.py. And then here's our import statement and to create the world so that we can communicate with our world that we created in Python, or sorry, in the Minecraft for Raspberry Pi. Excuse me. So now we're going to look at our position and store that as X, Y, and Z. So when we come over here to Minecraft, I can see my position is at 0.5, 0, 0, and 0.5 again. So I'm going to let X be 0.5, my Y position 0.0, and my Z position 0.5. Okay, that's where I'm currently located in my Minecraft world. Now, if I want to create a block, I'm going to first need a block type, and I'm 103. Okay, that is the block type for melon. So I'm going to go ahead and make melon be my block type. And to set a block, we're going to call our world, which we created. That'll connect us to the Minecraft world. And then the function set block. Okay, in there we have to put the X, Y, and Z position for the block we want to set, followed by the block type that we want to set. Now, if I were to run this, it would put the block directly on top of me. And I don't want to be crushed by a melon. So I'm going to go ahead and shift this block by adding 2 to the X coordinate, and then I'll go ahead and add 2 to the Z coordinate. Remember, X is your east-west, Z is your north-south, Y is the up and down axis. And I want the block to be positioned where I'm standing, or near where I'm standing, at the same level as me. So I'm going to leave the Y as it is. So let's go up to run our module, and then we'll come back in here and take a look around, and there's my melon block. Okay, so let's see if we could stack 2 melon blocks on top of each other. So if I copy my previous line of code, okay, think about what variable needs to change in order to stack another melon block on top of the one we already created. So the X coordinate is going to stay the same, and the Z coordinate is going to stay the same, right? What's going to change is the Y coordinate, because that's my up and down axis. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 to my Y coordinate, and that should, when we run it, put another block right on top of the first one, right? And there it is. Okay, if I wanted to change the block type, I can come up here to my variable where I assigned it. I could change this to 4, and that is cobblestone. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run. Okay, and now my 2 blocks that were created are cobblestone instead of melon. If I want to erase those blocks, right, my block type, I could change to 0, because 0 is air. And I'll go ahead and run the module, right, and now my 2 block tower has disappeared because I've replaced those blocks with air. Okay, now we don't always want to have to look at our Minecraft screen to see the position when we're going to build something. So there's a function we can call that will give us the position of the player. So we're going to save that information that comes from that function as position, and then world.player.get capital T tile, capital POS, that's the get tile position. Okay, and it's a function, so we're going to need an open close parentheses afterward. Okay, so that's going to retrieve for us, or return, the X, Y, and Z coordinate as a tuple. So we can assign those to our X, Y, and Z variables as position.x, and then position dot y and position dot z. Okay, let's change our block type back to melon, so 103, and I'm going to go somewhere else in my world so I can change my position. Here for a good place to go. Looks like I'm stuck on a snowy mountain. Let's go forward, and then we'll drop. Okay, so now I'm at a new position, right, in my Minecraft world. So let's go and run this module. And then we'll come back over here and take a look around for the 2 melon block tower, right? And there it is. Okay, now I certainly don't want to have to build a whole house 1 brick at a time in my code. So I'm going to use a different method now. Instead of set block, I'm going to change this to set blocks, plural. Okay, and the set blocks function allows me to pass in my starting position, so X, Y, and Z. I'm going to add 2 so that my house isn't sitting right on top of me. And then I'm going to, before I put in the block type, okay, I'm going to put the coordinates that are the end of the house that I want to build. So the set blocks function is going to make a cuboid, which is like a rectangular prism, and these are the coordinates X, Y, and Z for the front left corner of that structure. Okay, next I need to do diagonal from that. I'm going to do the back right corner that's at the top of the structure. So I'm going to need to know some dimensions for the size of the building I want to make. So let's make the width of this building, we can make it 7. Let's make the length of the building, oops, actually let's make the height of the building, we'll make that 5. And then the length, which would be our Z variable, let's make that a 10. So we're going to make a 7 by 5 by 10 structure, maybe not melon, so let's make it out of cobblestone this time. Okay, so I'm going to start at my X, Y, and Z values, and I think I'll just go ahead and start it at the tile where I'm standing. So we'll do X, Y, Z just to make that a little simpler to look at. And then our back corner that's up above, right, we're going diagonal, that's going to be X plus the width of my rectangle. Then the Y is going to be plus the height of my rectangle, and the Z, we're going to add to that the length of the rectangle. Okay, now that we have the 2 corners of the house we want to build, we need the block type. So our final argument is the block type. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my world here and reposition myself someplace else so I can build this structure. So let's come over here, we'll stand, oh, there's some grass, that's a good place. So we'll stand in the grass. Okay, and then let's come over and run our module. We'll hit OK to save. And it looks dark here because I put that right exactly where I'm standing. So I'm going to hit S to back up a smidge, and then I can look up, and there is my building. Okay, if I want to look around the side view, right now I can see the length, width, and height of the building that I created. But currently, this building is solid cobblestone all the way through. If I want to make a structure that I can get inside of, like a house, I'm going to need to hollow it out. So we're going to come back over to the code, and we'll make a new variable air. That'll be our block type 0 for air. And let's copy this line of, copy this line of code, and we'll paste it underneath. Okay, so this first set, remember we can use the pound sign for a comment. This is going to build the structure. And now this next one is going to fill it with air so that we can knock a hole in it and get inside. Okay, so now we need to give some dimensions to where we want the air to be located. So I don't want it to be exactly where I'm standing, because that'll erase the block that's closest to me. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and change this to be x, then plus 1. Okay, the y, same thing, we'll do y plus 1. And then the z is going to be z plus 1. Okay, so that's going to leave one thickness of block of cobblestone, and the air will replace what's 1 unit away from it in that corner. Then on the opposite corner, right, we're doing a diagonal, so we're going to go back to the back corner. We don't want to erase those, so we're going to subtract 1, right, so that we've got 1 thickness of block remaining, and the rest will get changed then to air. And then the last thing we need to do is change this block type variable so that now it's air. Okay, I've moved to a new location in my Minecraft world so we can test this out. Okay, so we've run. Now let's come back in here and back up a little bit so we can see where our house is located. Okay, and there, oh, I think I'm underneath a tree. Let's see if we can get to the other side here. There we go. Okay, so here's my corner of my house, and now we're going to check and see if it's hollow inside. So we're going to go up to the wall here, and we'll use our sword to knock a hole in, and we can see now the inside is hollowed out, right? It was filled with air. Okay, so next thing we're going to learn about is how to generate a random number. So we're going to import random, and we should probably move that up with our other import statement, so all our imports are together at the top there. Okay, we're going to import random, and then let's go ahead and take, after we get the player's position, okay, let's make the position be what we currently have the player located at. And then we're going to add to that, whoops, a random number. So random dot rand int, random integer. And let's make our character move from -10 to +10 in the world. Okay, and then the y position we can leave the same. Let's repeat that for the z. So we'll go ahead and copy and paste. Okay, so it's going to relocate our player 10 units to the left or right, 10 units forward or back. But the y position, the up and down position, is going to stay the same. Okay, for the width of the structure that we build, let's go ahead and paste, and we'll make this a random number as well. Now it wouldn't make sense to have a negative width, so we'll say that we're going to be going from 5 to 10. Okay, so the width will be some random integer between 5 and 10. And we can repeat that with the height and with the length as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and run. Okay, and now notice the building is not right on top of us. We're going to have to look around to find it, right? And there's our structure that's a random 10 paces away from us. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it again and see where the building ends up this time. So now we can see it off in the distance there. There's another building. Okay, we'll run it one more time. See where this one ends up. Oh, it looks like this one is much closer to us this time. So we'll back up with the cursor here, turn around, and there's the building. And look, that one is a whole lot different in dimension, right, than the one that we had just created a moment ago, right? So we could people our universe with buildings by randomly generating positions as well as height, width, and length values.